Today we are jumping right into a huge debate, one that's really about the nature of truth itself. And at the center of it is one of the most important religious thinkers of the 20th century, Joseph Ratzinger. Now, this isn't just about theology. It's about a really fundamental question. What's the right role for reason in our lives? And, what happens when it claims to be the only game in town?
So our story kicks off in Germany, at the University of Tübingen, with these two absolutely brilliant colleagues. On one side, you've got Hans Kung. He's this charismatic, progressive theologian who's arguing that the church has to get with the times. It has to embrace modernity if it wants to survive. And on the other side, Joseph Ratzinger, the man who would one day become Pope Benedict XVI. They were actually friends, but their worldviews were on a collision course, and it sparked this lifelong intellectual rivalry that really gets to the heart of the modern world's whole struggle with faith.
And Kung, well, he didn't pull any punches. He had this really sharp critique of Ratzinger. He said that for all his brain power, there was a part of him, and this is a great line, an unenlightened devotional corner in his Bavarian heart. He felt this part of Ratzinger was just sealed off from modern reason. This one little observation perfectly sets up the entire conflict we're going to unpack.
Yeah, this wasn't just some personal dig. This was the main charge that would be leveled against Ratzinger for decades, that his faith, his core beliefs, made him fundamentally unable to engage with the modern world on its own terms. And those terms were the terms of reason.
To really get this clash, we've got to zoom out a bit and look at the massive intellectual earthquake that shaped their entire world, the European Enlightenment.
The Enlightenment, or Aufklärung as it's known in German, was built on this incredibly optimistic, powerful idea that pure scientific human reason was the ultimate source of authority. For thinkers like Kung, you couldn't just ignore this. Engaging with this new worldview was absolutely essential if faith was going to stay credible. But Ratzinger, he saw a huge danger lurking here. He argued that when reason puts itself on the throne and declares that it is the only path to truth, it doesn't become free. Nope, it actually becomes a prisoner.
And this is his incredible metaphor, a concrete bunker with no windows. He said that a type of reason that only accepts what's measurable, what's functional, what you can prove in a lab, what he called positivist reason, it traps itself. It builds walls around itself and cuts itself off from this whole other world of human experience. Things like love and beauty, morality and God.
And for Ratzinger, this wasn't just some abstract theory. He pointed to a chilling, very real example, the atomic bomb. I mean, think about it. It's an absolute masterpiece of technical, functional reason, but it's also a terrifying example of what that same reason can create when it's completely detached from any higher moral framework.
So the consequences of this bunker mentality, according to Ratzinger, are pretty severe. By closing off the windows, this narrow view of reason actually diminishes our own humanity. It just ignores huge parts of reality, because, well, you can't plug them into a formula. And Ratzinger warned that, in the end, this kind of closed-off logic can even lead to ideologies that just suffocate human life. Okay, so if reason is trapped in a bunker that it built for itself, how does it get out? This is where Ratzinger's argument takes a really surprising turn. He says that the very thing the Enlightenment saw as the enemy, faith, is actually the key to setting reason free. And that brings us right back to the core of that disagreement between Kung and Ratzinger. I mean, if you listen to the Enlightenment, it sounds like the answer is yes. But for Ratzinger, the answer was a definite no. He didn't see them as enemies at all. He saw them as essential partners. The way Ratzinger saw it, faith's job isn't to crush or replace reason. Its job is to heal it. By reminding reason that there's more to reality than what we can see and measure, faith helps reason become what it was always supposed to be, open to all of existence. It basically throws open the windows of that concrete bunker. And this quote, it just nails his vision perfectly. It's a two-way street. Reason, or philosophy, it needs faith to see the whole picture. But faith absolutely needs reason to stay grounded, to be understandable, and to be truly human. It's got to be a dialogue, not a monologue from one side. So as we start to bring this all together, you can see that Ratzinger's whole project wasn't anti-reason at all. It was actually a call to rescue reason from the narrow limits it had placed on itself and restore it to its full power. At the end of the day, Ratzinger wasn't trying to drag everyone back into some dark age before the Enlightenment. His whole goal was to help reason find its true greatness again, to be big and expansive and open to all of reality, not just the small functional slice of it. So what are the big takeaways here? First, that powerful image of reason trapping itself in a concrete bunker. Second, Ratzinger's pretty radical idea that faith doesn't fight reason, it actually sets it free. And finally, his beautiful goal of a symphony between the two, where they work together to paint a much richer, fuller picture of what it means to be human.
And all this leaves us with a pretty provocative thought for today. I mean, this debate from the last century feels more relevant now than ever before. In our world, a world that is so reliant on data, on algorithms, on things you can quantify, are we accidentally building new, even more sophisticated concrete bunkers for ourselves? It's a question that's definitely worth thinking about.